Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Welcome, Kaizer Chiefs supporters, all supporters of football. Banani, how are you? But before we get into the chat of the updates of Potsanes and all of these players, before we get on those things, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bafethu, subscribe. YouTube, 1 billion% of you who watch this don't subscribe. Kanti man. Yeah? See, shy 7,000, it could be 10,000. But anyway, let's get into it. Potsanes leaves Kaizer Chiefs. I went on to Transfer Market, not the most reliable for stats, but anyway, I went there just to see his contribution for Chiefs. It says that Banani has played over 150 games. He has about 5 goals and 17 assists. For Kaizer Chiefs, though, they say he played about 19 games and he has 2 assists. I think Banani is a difficult one. He's been out of favor with coaches. He's been injured. He's been poor. It's just been tlakantsoke. So is one of, let me just be honest and say this. Banani is one of those players that should never have signed for Chiefs. Not that he's not a good player for the PSL. I think he definitely deserves to be in the PSL. And I think he definitely deserves to contribute to South African football. Because I've watched him at Celtic. I've watched him at so many places, right? I've watched him Celtic, Royal AM, and in those places, the guy was a good contribution. When I say good contribution, I'm saying to those specific teams. But when it came to Kaizer Chiefs, number one, we gave Banani jersey number 11. I don't know how, but it happened. And number two, there's nothing that Banani has done in his career that would have told you that he's good enough to play for Kaizer Chiefs. When Banani was signed by Chiefs, a lot of people were kind of shocked because we didn't get it. It was kind of like the Morris deal. But you know when something happens and you're like, okay, he's not Kaizer Chiefs material, but he's not one of the worst players in the PSL. So maybe at Chiefs, he will kind of give up some of his exciting days that he had at more Bloemfontein Celtic than he did at Royal AM. But we were right all along. We were right all along. Guti Banani can't play for Chiefs. Not because he's not like a bad player for the PSL. No, but just because he's not Kaizer Chiefs material. He's not at the standard of Kaizer Chiefs. And when I was looking at these numbers, I kind of tried to see, okay, Chiefs has basically 7 players, not including Banani, have been released or let go. One of them is Matt, so we can't really count Matt. And one of them is apparently Sam, even though according to news reports, Sam is technically still a Kaizer Chiefs player because I don't think Chiefs and Sam have basically agreed to his, let me just say, release. Because you have to pay a player if you want to terminate his contract, and you have to negotiate with that player. Now, Sam, if I was Sam, and I'm talking for myself, if I was Sam, and let's just say Chiefs is paying me 80K or 100K per month, and Chiefs, now that 80K to 100K is close to 2.4 million, right? Close to 2 to 2.4 million for the next 2 years. Now, if I am Banani Sam, let me tell you what's going to happen. When Chief says, Banani Sam, we want to release you today, and maybe to release you today, can we please strike a deal with you to, instead of paying you the 2 million over the span of the 2 seasons, we want to pay you out by giving you maybe 500K for the next, for 500K, then we release you. If I am Banani Sam, this is what goes in my mind. It says, I will probably never make this 2 million rand that Chiefs has in my contract again. I'll probably never make it. I'll probably never make 100K again in my life. So why would I go and take 500K when I can get 2 million? So me as Banani Sam, I don't mind waiting out my contract. Like Bafethu, mina ngiright la. Like, I don't need to. If you guys want to release me, just pay me my money. Like, that's all. It's simple. Pay me my 2 million, nihambe. But if you guys want me to only get 500k today, angizingeni baba. I want my 2 million because ngama injury. Nami ngiyazibonela nginama injury and I will probably never get 100k. Maybe my next salary maybe 30k and it's not good enough. So that's why I'm saying this is the risk of signing players who are not good enough and won't contribute to you. And then you give them nice, shiny contracts. Because Morris is in the same boat. Chiefs management probably wants to release Morris, but it's the same story. Guy probably earns about 100k or whatever the case may be. And he has 2 years left on his deal. Do you think he's just going to leave that money? Because Morris is over 30. His career is basically at the end. He's not going to leave 2 million on the table. Even I wouldn't leave it. Shame, never. But anyway, we've released Tanzania, Dove, Castillo, Chivavero, Sabelo Khatebe. And all of these players that we basically released have not found teams. I think it should tell you something. But yeah. So it's unfortunate, Buffett. It's unfortunate. The other thing I wanted to touch on that has been very interesting for me is Nabi. In the off-season, we saw Nabi flying to Tanzania, and we saw Nabi in Tanzania with Terra. So when we saw Nabi in Tanzania with Terra, they said they were scouting players, they were chatting to players, they were chatting to Abu Faisal. Faisal was basically talking like he's a Chiefs player. They spoke to Steven, someone, I forgot the striker. They were speaking to Gabriel, someone, also I think he's from Azam. They were speaking to a lot of players that are based in Tanzania. But now, a lot of the players who were linked to Kaizer Chiefs are kind of just getting deals elsewhere. Apparently, Faisal Saloom is concluding a deal with Simba, but they're just figuring out how the money must go. Like, is he going to get 100%? Are they going to get 100% of the money now? Whatever the case may be. Abo Gabriel Saloom, I think, is in North Africa now. Okay, Gabriel someone, I forgot his name. Gabriel Salah is in North Africa. All of these players we've been chatting about, saying we want from Tanzania. These guys are not at Kaizer Chiefs. These players that we are talking about are no longer here at Kaizer Chiefs. But it's a trend for Kaizer Chiefs, ne? And it's an unfortunate trend. Because the players that we always target, we never get, then we go and find a player no one is looking for and no one wants. For example, no one was really wanting Flavio. We got Flavio. Chislet is maybe one who we can't really talk about because he's a South African. You don't lose anything by signing him. Chislet is one of those players who you don't really lose because he's a South African. He's not a foreign player. Like, you can keep him in South Africa. If he works, he works. If it doesn't, doesn't. But he doesn't really hurt your team. Shinga, same story, doesn't really hurt your team. He builds the squad. He's a South African. If it doesn't work out, it's not a train smash. The problem is the foreign players. The foreign players that don't work out are a problem. But yeah, another thing I picked up today is that I was looking at transfer market, and now apparently there is no Kaizer Chiefs player worth 1 million euros. I want to repeat it. Chiefs doesn't have a single player who is worth 1 million euros. And I'm going to say this to make it clear. Stellenbosch has 2 players who are worth over 1 million. Moloisane and Devon Titus. Sisi Kukune has a player who is worth 1 million. I forgot the player's name, but there is a player that they have on their books who's worth over 1 million. It's Mkhize. It's the former Sundowns boy, Mkhize. Pirates and Sundowns we won't talk about. We know they have a player over 1 million. They have players over 1 million. But when I looked at Chiefs, there is no player that's worth 1 million, which shows you the quality that we have in our squad. Our squad is slowly starting to cement itself as a mid-table team. Unfortunately. And I say this with the understanding that I would have hoped we do have maybe one other player in the million because we won the Nedbank Cup. But clearly the Nedbank Cup has not benefited the value of our players because our players are still considered not to be worth that much in terms of value. It is a very sad thing I saw. I think this was my first time me looking at this transfer market in a very long time. I don't know in how many years, where I see a Chiefs player not reaching 1 million. We have always had a Chiefs player, at the very least one, who is worth 1 million. We've always had one. Maybe we can say that one was Yusuf Mat, but there's always at least been one. But now, even with Yusuf Mat gone, there's nothing. And we're not signing a player who's worth a good value. We're not producing a player that's worth a good value. Chiefs, basically, in its structures, has potentials to be good, but potentials that have not proved it for quite a while now. And for me, that was a sad thing to see. But yeah, other than that, a lot of you have been crying that I don't speak a lot of positive things about Kaizer Chiefs. A positive is that we're cleaning up the squad. So that's a positive. Abo Potsane are being released, etc. Another positive is, and I want to clarify this, Buffett, because I think you guys sometimes get the wrong idea. Flavio has not done well in the past 6 games. He honestly has not done well. And I mentioned this on X today, that I've been trying to figure out the words as to what I struggle with Flavio about. And the words I have is that when I watch Flavio play, he does not look like someone who is in control of his body and someone who doesn't have balance. Like, he always looks like he's going to fall or trip over his feet. He doesn't look like he's in balance, right? And I'm not saying that is going to be a bad thing, but I've been saying, Guti, I get why he has struggled to score a lot of goals, despite there being potential in him. I get why he hasn't scored a lot of goals, because balance is important. Balance is very, very important. You know, this balance is something they don't teach. You can't really teach it. You have to train it. Sometimes it comes naturally. Balance is Abo Messi and Abo Ronaldo. At its peak, Abo Lamine Yamal. At its peak, if you want to see balance at its peak, look at those guys. They may be small, they may be thin, but because they have balance, you can't just come and try to push them or whatever because of the balance. When they do the first touch, like, whether it's a bad first touch, their balance is not distorted in any way. And Flavio has bad balance. I'm just going to say that. Because you can just see, sometimes he'll do a first touch and it will put him off balance because the ball won't go where he wants to. And when he's trying to adjust, it just looks clumsy. But anyway, I am not here to bash Flavio. I want to say this. I hope Flavio has a 1-year deal plus 2 options, 2-year options. So I hope this season, what we get out of Flavio is that he surprises a lot of defenders. And when I say surprises a lot of defenders, they probably won't be used to a player that looks like him. They probably won't be used to his abilities. He's strong. He has pace. He shows a little bit of being good with his feet in moments. I hope he surprises a lot of teams, and in them being surprised, he gets a lot of easy goals. That is what I wish for Flavio, and I wish him all the best, because if Flavio shines, we shine. That is just the main topic of it. If Flavio shines, we shine. And yeah, like, I want the best for my team, ne? But at the same time, just because I want the best for my team, it doesn't mean that I want to acknowledge that the management has been making bad decisions. And when I say management has been making bad decisions, I want people to understand me clearly. Potsane didn't sign himself. Bongani Sam did not sign himself. Flavio did not sign himself. Flavio, all these players did not sign themselves. our management went to these guys and said, come play for us. You see what I mean? So you can't blame someone who is offered a chance to play for Kaizer Chiefs and they agree. Because in the past Kaizer Chiefs would never offer a contract to a player who is not good enough. Chiefs would know if you are good enough way before they even called your name. They didn't have to see you in a Kaizer Chiefs colors to know if you're good. And part of the problem is also that Kaizer Mtaung Senior is no longer part of Kaizer Chiefs because he's aging. And when I say no longer part, he can't make the decision. He can't go and scout. Because Kaizer Mtaung Jr. was part of that. He was part of looking and assessing at players. He was part of talent identification. He had the eye. His kids don't have the eye, unfortunately. But that it is what it is. But yeah, so management also needs to take accountability. And also, management, we can blame Nabi Olu. Everyone here, if Chiefs does not do well in the first 10 games, I think Nabi will get sacked in the first 10 games if Chiefs doesn't do well. But if Chiefs doesn't do well in the first 10 games, a lot of Kaizer Chiefs fans are going to point the finger at Nabi. And they're going to say Nabi was the problem all along. And they will forget that Nabi has been consistently crying for players. And he has been consistently saying these guys are not good enough. And he even went to Tanzania to look for the players he wanted. He even brought the players' WhatsApp numbers, the numbers of the mothers, the numbers of the sisters, etc. And Chiefs still could not get the deals over the line. And when I say Chiefs, I mean management. So Nabi is trying, but sometimes there's so much you can do. That's why I always advocate for Pito, because I can say Pito has Kaizer Chiefs. Pito will go to Black Leopards, find a player. Pito will go to M Tigers. Pito will go to Pimville All Stars. Pito will go and find the Centaurs, Baba. That's in the Western Cape that no one thinks exists, and find a player. If Pito wants to do it, he will do it. This thing of thinking that Pito will only sign, will never sign for Chiefs because he just wants the best of the best of the best. Buffett. Pito will look at the project and what the project needs and the budget, etc., and he will build his team because he's done it before. Like, you don't need money to build a world beater. I'm going to put it clearly. Yes, it's nice to have money, but you don't need money to be a world beater if you know how to use the money that you have properly. That is all I'm going to say. That is all I wanted to say. But anyway, Amakhosi for life.